Welcome back to Cozy English Corner. It is a rather gray and freezing morning here in Columbus, Ohio. The wind is definitely picking up outside our studio.
Thank you for having me, Alex. You are not joking about the wind. Driving down High Street this morning with that sudden sleet was quite the experience.
That is the classic Ohio transition into winter for you. We just pull our coats tighter and keep going. Speaking of navigating difficult environments, you mentioned something fascinating before we started recording.
Yes. I recently moved here to work in healthcare administration, and I have been struggling deeply with how I sound in meetings. I stay awake at night worrying that my colleagues think I am aggressive or demanding.
That is a heavy burden to carry, Naomi. Imposter syndrome is real, especially when you are communicating in a second language in a professional setting. Give me an example of what you usually say.
Well, if I need a report, I say, "Will you finish this by tomorrow?" Or, "I want you to send me the file." People usually do it, but the room goes quiet. It feels very cold.
I understand completely. The words are grammatically correct, but they lack a social buffer. Today, we are going to fix that anxiety by looking at one specific word: would.
I hear people use would all the time, especially here in the Midwest where everyone is so polite. But I do not really feel the difference between will and would yet.
They feel entirely different. Listen to this sentence. I will help you if I have time. How does that sound to you?
It sounds okay. It sounds like a fact. You are checking your schedule, and if the time is there, you act.
Correct. It is 100% real and grounded in reality. Now try saying it this way. I would help you if I had time.
Oh, I would help you if I had time. That feels much softer. It actually sounds like you want to help, but you simply cannot.
Exactly. When we use would, it removes us from hard, cold facts. It takes the conversation into the realm of imagination, or things that are not certain.
So, when I ask a colleague, "Will you finish this?" I'm demanding a solid fact. No wonder they get defensive.
Yes, there is a fascinating study in sociolinguistics about this. When people hear direct commands with will or must, the brain's threat center, the amygdala, slightly activates. They feel their autonomy is being challenged.
That makes perfect sense. I feel that in my own body. When someone demands something from me, my shoulders tense up immediately.
But when you use would, you create a mental space. Would you finish this by tomorrow implies if it is possible for you. It gives them the illusion of choice, which calms the brain.
It is like an invitation rather than a hard command. "Would you mind opening the door?" Feels so much more respectful than "open the door."
Precisely. It shows great social awareness. Let us talk about the other side of would, which is the imagination part. This is something many adults lose track of.
What do you mean by losing track of it? Like losing our ability to dream?
Yes, we get so caught up in reality. Paying the mortgage, checking emails, dealing with inflation, we stop living in the mental playground. Would is the key to that playground.
I feel that. Sometimes I am so stressed about my career that I do not even allow myself to imagine an alternative. I just deal with the facts.
Let us practice escaping the facts for a moment. I will give you a condition using the word if. Tell me the result using would. Ready?
I am ready.
If you had a private jet right now, parked at the Columbus airport, where would you go?
Oh, that is easy. I would fly straight to Kyoto. I would walk through the bamboo forests to escape the noise of the city.
That sounds incredibly peaceful. Notice how would brings your dream to life in our conversation, even though the jet does not exist.
It does. One part is the condition, having the jet, and the other part is the magic result. They work together like a team.
Exactly. If sets the stage, and would makes the imagination natural. But remember our rule. If it is a real plan, what word do we use?
We use will. So if I already have my ticket to Kyoto for next month, I must say, I will fly to Kyoto.
Perfect. Will is for real plans, and would is for the unreal. Now, let us shift gears to something very emotional, our memories.
Memories? I thought we were talking about imagination and polite requests. How does would connect to the past?
Think of would as the past tense of will, but more beautifully, we use it to talk about past habits, things we did repeatedly that we look back on with nostalgia.
Oh, like saying, when I was a child, I used to read under the blankets.
Yes, but used to states a boring fact. It sounds like a history book. Try saying it with would instead.
Okay, when I was a child, I would hide under the blankets with a flashlight and read for hours. Wow, that does feel different.
It feels alive, doesn't it? Would makes the memory cinematic. I can almost see the light from your flashlight.
It paints a picture. When my grandmother was alive, she would bake bread every Sunday morning. The whole house would smell like yeast and butter.
That is storytelling English at its finest. By choosing would over used to, you add a layer of deep emotion to your past. It invites the listener to experience the warmth with you.
I never realized grammar could hold so much emotional weight. I always thought rules were just strict boxes we had to fit into.
That is the biggest myth in language learning. The mechanics exist to serve human connection. Which brings us to the last major use of would, giving soft advice.
I definitely need help with this. At work, when I see a broken process, I usually say, "You need to change this." And again, people look offended.
Because you need to sounds like a parent scolding a child. It threatens their professional ego. Instead, put yourself in their shoes, using the unstated, if I were you.
So I should say, I would change this process.
Exactly. I would approach it this way, or I wouldn't worry about that detail. It offers guidance without asserting dominance. It is highly collaborative.
I feel a massive weight lifting off my shoulders. I have been terrified of speaking up because I did not want to sound rude. This one word changes my entire approach.
Language is a tool for building bridges, Naomi. Will is for the bold builders who deal in solid facts. Would is for the polite dreamers and the diplomats.
I am definitely aiming to be a diplomat in my office starting tomorrow. I cannot wait to try this out.
Let us do a quick summary for our listeners to ensure the concepts stick. First, what do we use when a situation is not 100% real?
We use would. It creates a mental playground, like dreaming of a private jet.
Correct. Second, how do we make a request sound like an invitation instead of a command?
By asking, "Would you mind?" or "Would you help me?" It gives the other person space and calms their brain's defenses.
Spot on. Third, how do we talk about memories with emotion?
We use would to describe repeated past habits, making it sound like a beautiful story instead of a dry textbook fact.
And finally, how do we give advice without bruising someone's ego?
We frame it from our perspective. I would try this method, rather than telling them what they must do.
You have mastered the golden rules, Naomi. Real equals no would. Not real equals would. It is that simple.
This has been incredibly eye-opening. I genuinely feel more equipped to handle my meetings tomorrow. And maybe I will bake some bread this weekend, just for the memories.
I highly recommend that. Now, it is time to ask our listeners to jump into the mental playground with us.
I would love to read their answers. What is the question for today?
Here's the scenario for the comments. If you could erase one stressful responsibility from your daily life, what would you do with that extra free time?
Oh, that is a deep one. I would probably spend hours gardening without looking at my watch once.
Write your answers in the comments using the word would. We read every single one. If you found this discussion helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Cozy English Corner.
Thank you for creating this safe space for learners, Alex. It means a lot to those of us trying to find our voice.
It is my pleasure. Stay warm out there in the Columbus wind, Naomi. And to all our friends listening, keep practicing and never lose your imagination. See you in the next episode.